right, boys. We're here to the second round of the NFL. Jesus Christ. Fuck it. I'm gonna leave that. You can edit that out. You can leave it in if you want. Fuck it. We're in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and we're gonna start it off with the Eastern Conference here. Just quickly from you guys, what are your takeaways from the first round, and then we'll move into our analysis of these upcoming series.
I mean, not a whole lot to talk about for the 1-8 and 2-7 series. Pretty much everything we expected to happen did happen. 2 sweeps in there. I think I predicted the East almost perfectly. Pacers Bucks, obviously not a very conventional series. You have Dame missing game 1, coming back for game 2, and then tearing his Achilles immediately after that. And then becomes Pacers win in 5 in pretty dominant fashion. I don't think there was really any doubt after Dame went down. Giannis had an incredible series like we all thought. But yeah, they just do not have the offensive firepower to keep up with a team like the Pacers.
Yeah, those 2 series, it's just allegedly a team, and then attended not working out for Dame. Which, I mean, yeah, he really shouldn't have come back. I mean, I said he shouldn't have come back. We all said he shouldn't have come back. Obviously, you can't predict that, but very sad to see there. But yeah, from the hoop side, it's about what we expected from these 2 series, the 1-8 and the 4-5.
I'll say about the 3-6. The Knicks looked pretty bad. Like, I know they won in 6, but there's a game we all saw the Tim Hardaway no call. That absolutely should have been a foul. That series should have been 2-2, and then who knows what happens after that. I mean, yeah, they won the series. It didn't get taken to 7 like I thought it might, but I mean, it was by no means a blowout series. It was a close 6-game series, you know, and it really did not make me feel all that much confidence in the Knicks going forward.
I would agree with that. Brunson had a great series. He averaged I think above 30 for the series, but other than that, yeah, this Knicks team just seemed very stagnant. They defensively could not really find an answer for Cade. And then down the stretch, the Josh Hart shooting slump has gotten bad enough where they're just playing Deuce McBride now, and that gives you 2 competent defensive players in your best lineup, which is not what you want to see, especially against who they're playing in the next round. So yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by New York. I will agree.
We can use that as our transition into our prediction here for the next round. Celtics Knicks. I mean, I feel like we laid it out pretty well what we all might be thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, these weak links of Cat, Brunson, and then if they're playing Deuce, that's just gonna completely kill them. Celtics go 5 out, attack those weak guys, and then Cat is waiting for them at the rim playing drops. So I mean, I just don't know how the Knicks can manage to even slow down the Celtics. Like I said, they're going to have 2 good defensive players with their best lineup. I mean, you can bring Hart out for some minutes, but that does kind of tank the offensive capabilities. And yeah, I was not moved by the first round for the Knicks. They shot poorly except for Brunson. And I mean, we've seen this story before. They've played 4 times. It's gone Boston's way every time by a big margin in the regular season. The most recent one was a Celtics 30-point blowout without Porzingis. So for that reason, I'm going Celtics in 4. I don't think any of these games are going to be especially close. We've known the Knicks have not played well against good teams all season, and I see no reason for that to change.
I don't know if playing devil's advocate is the right term here, but I mean there was a few injury concerns for the Celtics last series. I don't think it'll fucking matter. I think they could start Sam Hauser instead of Jaylen Brown and Al Horford instead of Drew Holiday, and they still probably win in 6. And if those guys get healthy, I mean it's just wraps for the Knicks. I'll give them one game just because I think we could see either Brunson or Cat go crazy and just like push them over the top at one home game, like game 4 probably, something like that. But yeah, overall it's just the Celtics really easily. I barely even have anything to say about it. They're just better.
Yeah, not total disagreement from me. I'm honestly just trying to look at the minutes. You just look at the minutes of the Knicks players, and it will tell you how desperate Tibbs has been. Okay, he hasn't unloaded the full chamber, but he's still playing his guys 42 minutes. In that final game, yeah. So I could see it being closer than how you guys are describing it, just dependent on Tatum and Brown. And I mean, on paper, the Knicks match up all right with the Celtics. Like, they have Anunoby and they have Mikal for Tatum and Brown. I guess I suppose Jalen Brunson has to guard somebody though. So I think the best case scenario for the Knicks, they somehow just win game 1 because the Celtics aren't prepared or whatever. And then Tatum just tries to be like Kobe in Madison Square Garden and just chucks a bunch of shots. Which I haven't, didn't tune in a whole lot to the Magic series. A little bit. I wasn't that moved by the Celtics there, but they got it done. I do think Jalen Brunson will not do as well in this series. So it's going to be on Mikal, Anunoby, and Cat to like pick up some of the scoring load. So I could see them potentially. It's hard to see them because they didn't win a single game. It's hard to see them steal a home game. I think if they split one of the first 2 games, they could maybe push it to 7. But I will say Celtics in 6 probably. I think in the season predictions, I had the Knicks doing by having the best record, and they just completely. I think if they were 500 against the top teams, they probably would be close to first. So
how
like
does 0 sound instead?
So yeah, I also wasn't moved by the Knicks in the first round either. So this series will tell us how good the Pistons are. If the Celtics just blow the Knicks out, then they're not as real of a playoff push that we thought, and the Knicks are just frauds. Yeah, I got Celtics in 6. I don't want them to win this series, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I think the Knicks will pretty obviously put Bridges and Anunoby on Brown and Tatum, thinking that, Tatum is any sort of threat. But we've seen him go, 6 for 25 and win playoff games many times. There's just too much offensive firepower for the Celtics. It's going to be a problem for all the other defenders that the Knicks are going to throw out there, like we said, Cat and Brunson. It'll be a problem.
Yeah, I will say against the Magic, I mean, the Magic are a good defensive team, but they did looks like they held the Celtics under 110 in the first 4 games. So, I mean, if you're the Knicks, you think you have a chance in this series. So, I mean, they're going to come out I don't know if you can come out confident just barely beating the Pistons, like on that no call too, because like, you know, if that game goes another way, there is a game 7, and it's game 7 versus the Pistons, so it's it would be kind of hard to feel confident after that. So I give him like puncher's chance, but that's about all that we can give him there.
Moving on to the other series in the East, which, as we're recording this, has already played game 1. The Pacers won. It was like 116 to 109 or something like that. I didn't look at the exact score, but it was a somewhat close game that the Pacers stole game 1 at home, or at the Cavs' home, I should say. What were you guys' thoughts on that game and the rest of the games to come?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That was a super fun game to watch. Probably my favorite game of the playoffs so far. But yeah, I was not expecting a Pacers win, especially, you know, coming out of having the longer series at Cleveland. That was pretty shocking to me. And when I was doing all the when I was kind of thinking through how the series would go before game 1, I mean, every matchup that I could think through was going the Cavs' way, right? You have the double big lineup to, you know, beat the shit out of them on the boards. You can, you know, neutralize the pick and pop with Turner and Siakam through Mobley. And then you have, you know, 2 great offensive guards going against like Mathurin or Nembhard and Halliburton. Granted, Garland was not playing this game. I do not know what his status is for the rest of the series. I think it's pretty kind of day-to-day, but yeah, working on the assumption that he returns at some point. I still think this goes the Cavs' way. I mean, for all those reasons, like I was saying, I just think this Cavs defense has some methods to shut down the Pacers. But that's not what we saw in game 1. I mean, Nembhard had the 23, I think. Halliburton had 21, 13 assists with, I believe, no turnovers. Pacers are just a team of clutch demons and playoff risers. Is all I can gain from that game. We were talking in the group chat last night about how they've been doing this for like the whole time of this core. Like last season we saw it too. It's just a team full of playoff risers. They're you know, shooting 54% from that game, I believe, versus 23 from Cleveland, I think. And that's another reason why I think this is going the Cavs' way, is that when you have a shooting differential that big, which is, I mean, the Cavs without Garland are not like a ridiculous shooting team, but they're better than 23%. So I think if the shooting normalizes to, you know, the sample size that we've seen throughout the regular season, I think that game goes a little differently. But I think the Pacers can just keep shooting like that. I mean, they really are a team that can do that for a whole series. So I am going Cavs in 6 as my official prediction. But yeah, I think this will be kind of a sneaker for the Cavs based off game 1.
I am going to co-sign Cavs at 6, which was my prediction before the series started as well. What I will say is I think I trust Kenny Atkinson to change what was going on in that game, because Evan Mobley could not miss a shot, and down the stretch we saw 20 shots from Ty Jerome, which I just don't think is the offense you want to be running in a playoff series. I think that'll change, though, especially if Garland's back. We'll see him take a lot more of those shots, which you trust him to make. No hate to Ty Jerome, but he's not a 20 shots in a playoff game type of player. The Pacers' offense, though, is just ridiculous. Like, they shot 53 from the field, 53 from 3, and none of those shots were like they shouldn't have made them. They were getting good looks almost every time. So, I mean, that's kind of scary for the Cavs, that their offense is just so elite. They're always going to be open, always going to find good shots. You just have to trust, like you said, that the Cavs are going to shoot better than they did in this game because they really were not very efficient, and it was I pulled up the score here. It was 121 to 112, so that's a 9-point game with the Cavs shooting that poorly. I mean, if they shoot their season average, they should be all right. They are a better team, but I mean, like we've seen from this Pacers core in the past, they just turn it on in May, and during the playoffs, they're just different, I guess. So I could definitely see the Pacers winning this series, especially if they keep shooting like that, which they could. Gotta trust the Cavs to play better, though. They won 64 games this season. I think it'd be strange not to pick them. I'll pick them in 6. I could definitely see it going 7. I could even see the Pacers winning, although I don't think it's all that likely.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to watch the game, and I was kind of debating, like, should I look at the box score and really analyze this, or should I, like, just predict on, like, what I would have thought before the series started? Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know Garland was out, so I was like, okay, so the Cavs are just gonna win, and that's that. But they did not. But looking at the game, they had the same amount of boards, but the Cavs shot 45% from the field, and the Pacers shot 53. So they had 13 offensive rebounds. So, and the turnover differential was 16-7 in favor of the Cavs. So it doesn't look like that much to worry about. And we got Sam Merrill in the starting lineup. Shout out, I suppose, but not the ideal playoff starter. And yeah, the Cavs didn't really like play their guys all that many minutes. Like Donovan Mitchell played 33 minutes. So I imagine that if Garland does end up not playing, they're going to play their guys a lot more minutes. Mobley, Allen, Mitchell, and Strus probably, or DeAndre Hunter. On paper before this game happened, it did seem that the size was probably going to be a big factor. And if their bigs are able to guard the 3 even moderately well, then it definitely favors the Cavs in this series of, like Nate said, 67 games. That's a larger sample size than this one game without Garland, and it looks like it just says injury / illness. On NBA.com, I'm not sure if anybody has any more information than that, but assuming he's back for game 2, I don't think there's any problem. I probably would have said Cavs in 5 before the series started. Knowing this game, I was kind of between 5 and 6 probably before this game, but I'd probably go 6 after this. I don't think that they win 4 straight, but I mean, I wouldn't put past them. Pacers were great in their last series, and yeah, they are better in the playoffs, it seems, but I don't see them making it to the conference finals this year. Interesting group for next year, assuming that they do lose, but maybe add Kevin Durant. Probably not.
That would be something.
That would be the weirdest Photoshop ever to see Kevin Durant in
I would love that.
a yellow Pacers jersey.
All right, so I've got the Darius Garland update here. It sounds like he's kind of playing through it. He says he's confident he's ready for game 2. But based on kind of other reporting, it sounds like he's basically just playing through pain. So, I mean, even if he is back, he might be on meds restriction or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine the medical staff is kind of playing that close to the chest. They're not looking to put out any actual information in the playoffs, so it's just like a wait and see thing with him. Even without Garland, I think you like the Cavs in this series. At least I probably do. Definitely in 7 though. And,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Moving over to the Western Conference, we saw a lot of very interesting series in the first round. It's a miracle Ben and I are both here. We should have picked ourselves. But what are you guys taking away from the first round in the West, and does it change your opinions on any of these teams?
I think I'll start us off here. So I had all of these series wrong essentially in the West. I don't knock myself too hard on the 7-game series because I predicted Rockets in 7 and Clippers in 7, and it just coin flipped the other way. But the Lakers one hurts obviously, and I guess I'll start it off there. Might as well. The Timberwolves just seemed more ready for the first game. They took game 1. Lakers tied it up at 1-1. Luka got sick and then sucked that game 3. It was a tight game 4 that Minnesota won, and then it was basically over from there. And then the Rockets Warriors, looking back at that series, it was pretty accurate by me to say that the double big would work against the Warriors, because I definitely predicted Steven Adams to be a big factor in this series, which he did end up being in Game 6 specifically. And the Warriors offense has some real concerns unless Buddy Hield is averaging 33 on 15 shots. Just a crazy Game 7 from him.
Got a couple of thoughts on the first round I'd like to share first, though. I'll just go down the line. I mean, there's no point mentioning Thunder Grizzlies beyond this sentence. Clippers Nuggets was a really close series. I think given the nature of the ending of games 1 and 4, it was not inconceivable for the Clippers to walk away with a sweep there, and it can only be described as throwing those games away, which was unfortunate, and then they just ran out of gas in the altitude. So, is what it is there. The Lakers Timberwolves I have probably the most thoughts on, and I'll sort of keep it brief and just say my most important thought is that Austin Reeves was fucking horrible in that series, and a lot of the reason I think most of us picked the Lakers in that series is that they did have so many perimeter threats that they could just like throw the ball around to and someone would get a favorable matchup or like open on a cut, open on a catch and shoot, and you just didn't get that from Reeves for the most part in this series. He was not very efficient. He took a lot of bad shots, honestly. Luka being sick didn't help the one game. He also probably needs to be conditioned better. LeBron was sort of out of gas by the end of it too because he was playing a lot of minutes for his age. But the biggest problem, probably even bigger than those 3 guys not playing as well as they could have, is just the rebounding and like the lack of size, lack of rim protection. They need any sort of center I think maybe you probably should have let the Mark Williams deal go through, if I'm honest. Jackson Hayes, Maxi Kleba, not what you want to be seeing as your center options in a playoff series. And the Timberwolves really took advantage of that, which, I mean, that does give me quite a few thoughts about the next series, but we'll get to that. And then Rockets-Warriors, I mean, that was just sort of the Warriors trolling for a while. Like, they really waved the white flag really early in Game 5. And Game 6 was sort of a similar story. Like, was it Game 5 where they were sort of making a comeback and their closing lineup included Braxton Key?
Yes, that was
Yeah, that was fascinating. But they did show some problems with rebounding specifically too, which might tip you off on what I'm thinking on that series, but like I said, we'll get to that. Zach, did you have any thoughts on the first round out west you wanted to share, or is it time for some predictions?
Yeah, I got a little bit to add about the like everyone else, Lakers Wolves was the one I spent the most time thinking about. I mean, everything you guys said was correct, but also, like, shout out Rudy Gobert and shout out Julius Randle. Right. Gobert, I mean, somewhat hit or miss, but 30-20 game to close out the series. Generally was better than you can expect from him normally offensively. Then Julius Randle just shot incredibly, man. Reasonable, like, playmaking too. No ball hog stuff from him. I mean, very remarkable playoff series from a guy we were all pretty low on in the playoffs, at least.
If you had told me Julius Randle is guaranteed to shoot his season average in that first round series, I probably would have gone Wolves in 7. I went Lakers in 7 because I didn't trust him. If you told me he was going to shoot 56% from 3 in a playoff series, I'm probably picking a Wolves sweep.
Yeah, he's remarkable.
And I mean, really, they were flat in Game 5. Reeves was dealing with a toe injury, was also a thing there, a toe sprain. I don't know if he suffered it in the series or what, but it honestly makes sense because he significantly dropped off here, and the shot selection wasn't drastically changed from the regular season. Also, Gobert for the first 4 games was basically what I predicted. He couldn't stay on the floor for 30 minutes a night. And then, I don't know, JJ somehow, I don't know how he did it, but he announced, like, Hayes wasn't going to play at all before the game, which, rookie head coach moment, don't tell the other team that you're not going to play a center. Because then the opposing team's real center, who plays in the Olympics, is going to grab rebounds. So that's unfortunate there. Yeah, you just, and there's the whole thing with JJ playing the entire starting 5 for the last half of Game 4, which not entirely mad at if LeBron wasn't 47 years of age. Like, just make a little swap. I think a lot of people are overreacting about JJ because, I mean, he's a rookie head coach. He's going to make some mistakes, and he's not going to lose his job by any means. So, but yeah, Randle. If you tell me Randle is, like, arguably the same, like, statistically wise, not accounting for how the Lakers match up and, like, shift their defense around, like, if you're telling me Randle is gonna be, like, the equivalent of Anthony Edwards, like, yeah, it's wraps. Like, Ant didn't shoot very well this series, which we'll take in the next series, but I'll let you keep going on this or any other series, Zach.
That was about all I had for round one. I think everything you guys said covers my thoughts pretty well. So, do we want to start off with Thunder Nuggets?
I think we do. The one
All right.
4 here. I'd like to start it off if that's all right with you guys, because I've got a quick thought here on how this one's gonna go.
Does it include Wapchich?
He will be mentioned. We will see some free throw numbers that were inconceivable to anyone previous to this series, I think.
Oh my god.
The NBA is going to market this as, the MVP battle, and just conveniently leave out that one of these guys just played a 7-game series that was pretty close all the way through until Game 7, and the other one has not played in like 10 days. Like, Shea has just been sitting on the couch watching these other series. Like, he's been able to rehab for so long. Just the fatigue level here is going to be the biggest factor. Not that I think the Nuggets had that great of a chance in this series, even without that, but, they're just going to be gassed. I'm honestly going Thunder 5 here, because they're just better, and they have one of the biggest rest advantages I can ever remember happening in the playoffs.
Some would say Shea's been sitting on the couch since the regular season ended.
That is true. He was not very good in their first round series, and it didn't matter.
One game, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this, Nate. I don't know how many minutes Jokic played, but it's certainly a ton. They were playing. He was playing up like 30 or 25.
Yeah, he was still in the
their
game in
game
the fourth
7,
quarter, like with 3
which is
minutes
just.
left.
I know it's like the interim head coach, but you just gotta. I don't know. You just gotta have your assistants let you know you are indeed up 30 in a playoff game, and the other team is just as tired as you, and you're just playing your starters for no reason. So, but to the real analysis of the upcoming series, I'd like to overreact to Shea being horrible from the field. In the Grizzlies series, except for Game 4, he shot like below 40% from the field, which is pretty terrible for a guy whose like entire calling card on offense is like getting to the free throw line. So you're way more efficient, shooting a lot of pull-up twos. But I just don't think. I think if James Harden can slow down Jokic as a post defender, then the Thunder have nothing to worry about sticking somebody who's 6'5" on him if they want to go there. And if they don't, they have 2 7-footers to put on him. Probably Hardenstein is better with Holmgren on the backside help. I don't want to say Jokic has been figured out, but I think that through the course of this season and this postseason, he's been significantly hampered from what he's done in past years, which is sort of obvious because he was playing at like a historically great pace in these last few postseasons, just averaging like 30, 10, and 10 on like 50-50 splits, almost closer to 50% from 3 than 40, which is just absurd. I don't see that continuing. I don't want to credit just the Lakers for figuring that out. But that's like, at least personally, the first time I've seen the Nuggets just completely get all of Jokic's strengths eliminated. And for the Nuggets, this is like the worst matchup you can think of, because you're playing like at least one non-shooter at all times. So that just means Holmgren can just roam the paint. and then they lead the league in deflections. That's not going to help Jokic. If they decide to put size on him, they can tip passes. Have very strong backside help. And they're just too deep. The Nuggets don't really have anybody outside. Maybe 6 guys that you really want to play significant minutes, and
Make
I can really see
with Lou Dort on the way.
yeah. But yeah, I can see Shade not like having the same offensive performance and shoot around 40% from the field, and maybe the Nuggets can get 2 games. But they have nobody to guard Shea. The Thunder have everybody to guard the Nuggets. I could easily see a sweep, but I'll give the Nuggets a game. Same as you, Nate. Thunder in 5, even though I'd really like it not to be. And then yeah, if Shea just averages 10 free throws a game, it's over. Yeah, and we will see about Jokic. He's been getting a little channeling his Luka Doncic energy, berating the officials and playing some sloppy ball. Some floppy ball. So we shall see how that's officiated. I do think that with some top tier MVP caliber foul baiting, this could be a very official heavy series. And I didn't mention that the Thunder are just they shoot so many threes that I don't think the Nuggets can keep up with that. It's the same dilemma with the Rockets-Warriors series. The Rockets just didn't shoot enough threes, especially in the Game 7 to keep up, just statistically. So I see similar things going here. So Thunder in 5.
Did not expect your analysis to include Jokic's floppy balls, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think we've all got the same thing going on. I'm going Thunder in 5. Like you were saying, Ben, the Jokic has, I don't want to say he's been figured out. He was severely limited in the scoring in round 1. Zubats did a great job. And then, yeah, the OKC big package is, I think you can replicate that. I would go either double big with iHeart and Chet, or just go with iHeart. I don't think you can put Chet on him. I think that's a big physicality mismatch, big belly mismatch, if you will. Even J-Dub center minutes I would rather have than Chet. But yeah, there's just a lot of ways to slow down Jokic for OKC. I also don't have as much faith in Jamal Murray to pop off like he did round 1. You know, the Thunder completely shut down Desmond Bane and John Morant in round 1. There's no weak link for Jamal to attack like James Harden in round 1. I mean, this is a completely ridiculous backcourt defense.
Especially if he stopped Lou Dort style.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, coming off an injury, who knows? Might get re-aggravated. But, I mean, yeah, the short rotation they're on, it's basically a 6-man rotation for the Nuggets. And coming off a 7-game series, it's just completely absurd. Fatigue imbalance. I mean, you can get away with pretty much anyone except Shea playing less than 30 minutes a night if you're OKC, I think, versus, I mean, Jokic might need to play 48 minutes a night to even have a chance at this. So yeah, I'm going Thunder in 5. I think we saw in the regular season there were 2 games back to back in March. And I've seen people kind of analyzing that as like, oh, it's a good matchup because like Jamal Murray had a good game on the second one when they won, but like J-Dub didn't play a ton of minutes, and you know when J-Dub did play the night before, Jamal had a complete stinker. So I think when this team is healthy, I don't think the Nuggets stand a chance.
Yeah, I don't think you can put too much stock into a back-to-back, like home and home, in a time when the Thunder already had the 1 seed locked up. Like they were coasting for the last month or so of the season. As far as
I would agree with that.
The defense on Jokic, I mean, I think Zubac is definitely a better defender than Hartenstein, but Hartenstein's really good, obviously. And then, I mean, if Westbrook is on the court, you don't trust him to shoot 49% from 3 like he did round 1. So you just stick Chet on him and have him roam the paint. So if Hartenstein does get beat at any point, there's still some deterrence at the rim for Jokic. I think we'll see. I mean, he always gets his counting stats no matter what, and he's never really all that inefficient, with like a few exceptions. In round 1 he had some bad shooting games, but I think you'll be able to tell by watching the games that he's actually been quite slowed down by this defense, which, I mean, it's hard not to be. I just think, yeah, like you guys were saying, the Nuggets will have offensive issues in this series and fatigue issues. It's a big mismatch here.
I will say that turnovers will be a big factor, because like I said, with the deflections, the Thunder have been like really good at the turnover differential, and we have Jokic and Westbrook, so I could very easily see Jokic plus Westbrook turnovers being less than the entire Thunder teams. So I don't think you get it done with that. Maybe Russ is just going to return to OKC and average a triple-double, but and shoot 50% from 3, so maybe.
Points, rebounds, and turnovers, triple-double for Russ.
Yeah, no, true. That's actually a good point. This may be a quadruple-double series for Russ. So
I think we will
watch
see
out.
a 10-turnover game from Russ. Last series in the second round, we got the 6-seed Timberwolves hosting a series here against the 7-seed Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of alluded to this, Nate, earlier, but I think this is going to be a somewhat similar story to round 1. I mean, the Warriors, like the Lakers, are undersized, don't have a real playable big, and they just have piss poor rim defense and rebounding. Like, I don't know if we can call or expect a Gobert offensive explosion, but I think he'll have the same opportunities as he did against the Lakers. Like, he just if he just needs to be taller than Draymond and Jimmy, and then he'll get a shit ton of boards. They were playing Quentin Post a fair amount in the Rockets series. I'm not sold. He's basically like a non-factor on both sides unless he's shooting extremely well. So I think you have to lock down the center rotation to Looney and Draymond to even keep the defense remotely competent, and that's just going to make the rebounding issue even worse though. And then I guess drawn back to that Lakers series, I thought Braun and Luka would have the size and strength to get to the paint against Jaden McDaniels, and he did a really good job on both of them. So I think we're going to see another series of most of Jimmy's scoring coming from the free throw line. I don't think he has the physicality to oppose himself against Jaden McDaniels. And yeah, just the Wolves offense, it's been completely on fire. And I don't want to count on that to change. Obviously, like we were talking about earlier, Julius Randle, great. Gobert, great. Ant was playing good, even if the 3 wasn't falling. You didn't get a ton out of Conley and the Chenster, but they were competent enough, and I think you can count on them to step it up if you need to. Someone else slows down. So yeah, I'm going Wolves in 5 here.
Yeah, we're on a similar page. My top 3 concerns in this series are defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding, and total rebounding. And I think every single one goes to the Wolves very easily. We're going to see Gobert average 20 boards in this series, I think. The Warriors, they just don't have the size. They don't have the strength. I mean, looking at their starting lineup, who the hell is going to guard Ant? Is it Jimmy? Because I don't think you want to do that, but they don't really have a whole ton of other options unless you want to put like Draymond on him. That's a whole nother issue. Yeah, I mean, for basically all the same reasons you said, Zach, I'm going with the Wolves here too. Probably in 5 as well. Maybe 6 just because I don't really expect them to shoot as lights out on offense as they did in the Lakers series, because they had some crazy heater games in that one. But I mean, aside from
Game 5 where they shot 15% from 3, which is the lowest ever in a win in playoff history. So I mean,
yeah, that was a fascinating game. They kept chucking them up, and I mean, the Lakers were pretty much cooked at that point anyways, so I don't think it mattered. But yeah, we'll see some interesting games here for sure. And I mean that sort of in terms, not exactly in basketball terms. I mean, we may see a record broken for most technical fouls in one series, and I'm expecting this series to only last 5 games. The level of violence and fuckery we're about to see in this series will be just completely fascinating. I'm very excited for this series. I'm going to back Wolves in 5 with Zach, though.
This is a hard one for me, because I understand, like, you do have to take into account Gobert's Game 5, but the Lakers didn't start a center. They were flat. They didn't try for the rebounds. They just missed a ton of threes. Other than that, you're really looking at Gobert as, like, from that series, as, like, a 10 and 10 guy on 28 minutes a night. And since the Warriors go small, I actually think that Draymond is going to work on Gobert. Like, he has a interesting whistle where he, in fact, does foul 8 times a game. But the refs just let a few of them slide. I don't know if that's just a Rockets thing, and we'll get a different situation here, but he literally somehow wasn't in foul trouble in almost any of the games versus the Rockets, despite being a menace to society. So I think that'll probably end up being the biggest factor for the Warriors, because he's been, other than the blatant fouls, Draymond's been good. We might see him get suspended one of these games, so maybe I'm spending too much time talking about him. I think this series is more so a thing about just the fatigue and health. I don't know if Steph's thumb is 100%. I don't know if Jimmy Butler's ass is 100%. So I'm very torn. I don't think it's going to be as Wolves oriented. I think the Warriors probably split one of the home games of the Timberwolves. I see this as probably as like a 2-2 tied series. So, in my opinion, I'm not very moved by Randall. It is interesting because they do have to put. Ideally, you want a bigger body on Ant, but you also need to put somebody on Randall. So it'll force them to not play big, but they might have to play Kuminga to guard to guard Randall, which you never want to hear.
Yeah, if the cum bucket is playing major minutes in this one, it's wraps.
I actually do see Quentin Post getting some run. He's been okay. I think that it'll mainly be on the supporting cast for Steph if they're able to draw the attention away, and Jimmy is actually able to score ethically. Then it's going to be a pretty long series for the Wolves. Jimmy's an interesting player right now because it's almost like he doesn't want to be there, like at certain points in the game. So I don't know if he's coasting, he's just old and tired, or what's really going on there. But he seems to turn it on when they need it. Obviously, he's gonna have a ton of motivation versus his old team, despite most of the team being different now than when he played for the Wolves with Cat.
I actually don't know if there's anyone left anymore from that time period on the Wolves.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing there. But he still will try to take it personally.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I mean, like you were sort of saying there, he's an old man with a busted up ass. How much does he really have left in the tank for this series? I don't know. Especially because he's going to be guarded by Jaden McDaniels, which, as we saw with LeBron and Luka, that is not something you want as the Warriors here. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much Jimmy gives here. I don't see it being all that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Wolves in 7. Like I said, I don't see it being a close series. I think the Warriors, it's really a coin flip for me this series. I think that the fatigue might just catch up to the Warriors with Jimmy and Steph being 36, Draymond being like 36. I do think that the getting to the line with Jimmy is going to be a big thing here. He may just average 20 free throws a game. The Wolves are very physical and often very borderline illegally physical. They got a more favorable whistle than the Lakers did, which was a concern for our resident Wolves fan. They actually had the free throw differential in all but game 1, which they won by 20 because they shot 50% from 3. Very up and down shooting series for the Wolves, which is why I have them dropping 3 games to the Warriors here.
All right, those are our predictions for the second round of the NBA playoffs here. Let us know your thoughts. Make sure to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and we'll see you in the next one.